Rise up, get healthy, let the truth ignite. Dr. Inky, always bringing dark to light. CMOS, senior system.
Zelly, hold on. So we got Inky in the building. He says, listen, I have a whole book available on Amazon now. It says blacks, what? Anatomy, AL solves the evolution problem. Yeah, go get that book. Go get the book. All right. We're gonna get the book and do a book read on it, and we're gonna tear it to smithereens. But you got to get it to tear it to smithereens.
Unc took the bait, bit the cheese, and now he in the trap. Oh my goodness. And it was masterful. I already knew what he was going to do step by step before he did it. Ah! Oh my God, this is crazy. Okay, look. Y'all been seeing this promo right here that I put together for a couple weeks now. And y'all ain't pay attention to the fact that it says the Beatles right there with the drummer playing. Y'all missed that. Y'all totally missed that the drummer that says the Beatles right there. That y'all totally missed the name on the cover of these books. Y'all totally missed it. But Unc bit the cheese. Unc went and rushed out and grabbed the book and couldn't wait to try to like filibuster or debunk or what. Oh my goodness, he in the trap.
Nature definitely predates humans, man. Definitely. So here, let me show you nature in action. Show you the oldest representation of evolution right here. And it's through man looking at this that we get that from. So I'll just do this right here. Here you go. Right here. That's the oldest representation of evolution right there in front of y'all face. Right there. Yep. It's a dung beetle. Right? Dropping eggs inside the dung. There you go. There you go. Oldest representation. Right there. All right? Simple as that. That's not hard. And so later on, indigenous Africans would take that, all right, and they would represent that idea with this. Hold on 1 second. Not too much. This is way before Darwin, way before colonial powers, way before anything that remotely starts to talk about things changing and transforming, right? You find this early on in the Nile Valley. And so, the dung beetle is part of the Nile Valley. And so you see indigenous people will take things that are natural in their environment and they'll try to make sense out of it. This is early man's attempt to understand the world around them. And so you do not pop up out of nowhere. That's never how that actually works. All right? Never works like that. I know you think it worked like that, but it actually never really works like that. No, come on, man. Okay. All right, so this symbol right here. Right here. Here you go. It's your early. See if y'all can see that. right there. Capita, there you go. That's a piece of jewelry, actually. All right. Yeah, see? So that's the same thing. You'll see this dung beetle was actually rolling the sun. All right. Holding the sun up. Talking about how things transform and evolve. If you look into the glyphs, right, it's actually talking about that like that. So this is thousands of years before Darwin, Wallace, Lamech, all of them, thousands of years before that. And that's important. And so when a person is trying to debunk evolution, like Sunchild constantly does, right? He doesn't understand it all and he does not care. He just wants to talk that talk, right? He doesn't recognize it. We're looking at him like he lost his mind and he's 10 carats stupid. He think he's getting stuff off, but he's actually not, right? And so no idea just pops out of nowhere. It's built off foundation. And so this idea of things evolving clearly starts in nature as the dung beetle rolls the dung and drops his larvae. And out of the dung comes a brand new dung beetle. Transformation. Indigenous Africans would take this symbol to mean evolve and transformation because they watched the dung beetle. So the idea of things evolving and transforming comes directly out of natural processes, right? Straight from nature. Dung beetles predate human beings. Dung beetles predate Charles Darwin. All day, every day. Later on, the Greeks would have an idea, right? Later on, the Muslims would have an idea. Later on, Europeans would have an idea. You want to find out the rest of it, be in the damn debate. Be there. Okay? So no, this idea is not an original idea. It's a living thing that occurred in Africa amongst dung beetles. And so the thing that's important about dung beetles are a model species. So when we talk about things being a model species, we're actually talking about species that do things that allow human beings to understand certain concepts. And dung beetles are the most speciations, meaning that they have the most varieties. There's thousands of varieties of different beetles, evolution, variety, transformation, different beetles, different species of dung beetles, more than any other species on planet Earth. This particular insect is like that. And so modern science uses dung beetles as model species to understand what? Evolution. There you go. Now, we want to find out what makes Charles Darwin so unique. Probably need to tune into the debate. But I wanted to start off with that because we got some people in our Discord. Man, make sure y'all join the Discord, man. It's popping with intelligent people, man. It's popping. And big up to my supporters. Hold on. All right, so now, let me move forward, okay? You don't say, let me see what Sunchild always got something wild to say. He don't make no sense. He said, they predate Darwin. Yeah, bro. What that got to do with it? I mean, hell, talking about evolution predates Darwin by thousands of years, man. What does that mean? Like, what? That's the point. If you don't understand the conversation, then you just don't understand the conversation, man. But I wanted to give him his time in the sun, man. You trying too hard, bro. You trying really too hard. We almost had that magic number 40. Yo, I don't start really teaching till we get at least 40 in the building, especially in the morning. Let everybody know we rocking over here, man. Go get them. Science has a language unto itself. I say again, science has a language, right, that is different than the language when we speak, when we talk. It's just different. And they can be the same words like theory and theory. All theories aren't created equal. No, sir. All theories are not created equal. So when science is talking about a theory, right? There's a Kepler again, sitting on the throne. Ancient Nile Valley symbol. It's a fresco depicting the Egyptian god Kepler, the first chamber of the tomb of Nefertari. So, it is what it is, man. I'm not taking it easy on son, child. He's a dedicated idiot. He's dedicated to foolery. He's dedicated to idiocracy, if that's a word. He's dedicated to it. He thinks because people had the idea before Charles Darwin, that all of a sudden that renders Charles Darwin's theory wrong. It's the craziest thing ever. That's how you know when a person don't understand science. Like pangenesis. Charles Darwin was the first person to say that. See? People don't understand. Look at science as steps. Walk to any building, go inside, and look at the steps. So just because you're on the 5th step, right, doesn't mean you all of a sudden don't recognize the steps that was before that. Don't mean you can't look at the first step because you're on the 5th step and say, I'm forgetting about the first step. You can't forget about the first step because without the first step, you don't get to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th steps. You stand at the top of 5 steps, you look down and you see the rest of the steps and you recognize them. You recognize them because without the first step, you don't get to the 5th step. That's as basic as I can make it. So when any idea when talking about nature is based off of our understanding, bro. And just because we don't understand something, right, at the time, doesn't mean it gets relegated to the supernatural. That's what that wild Christian said, remember? It was a wild Christian. Wasn't a good science advocate Christian, was a wild Christian who denied science and tried to mix science up with God, which is the craziest thing. Listen, man, God don't need science, man. God is fine without science. And if God needs science, then that would put God on the same plateau with man, now wouldn't it? For all my believers. Why put God on the same plateau, same plateau with humans? It's the craziest thing ever. Why would God need science? Don't make no sense, yo. And everybody trying to explain God through science, it's craziness, man. Doesn't make sense and it does not add up. It just doesn't. Doesn't, man. And then you got people saying, hey, Charles Darwin got to get everything right. That's crazy. Nobody gets everything right in the field of science. It's not religion. Only in religion do you get everything right. Mercedes again, only in religion do you get everything right. And you know I'm being super facetious.
Listen, leave it up to these Kemetic scholars that don't actually believe in Kemet. Leave it up to them. And they're going to tell you, you know, since in Kemet, they didn't have any surgical tools. Remember that? Remember the Kemetic scholars and the doctors? And remember Team Kemet co-signing one of their own saying that Kemet didn't have any surgical tools? So clearly they couldn't know this right here. They couldn't know this. The only thing they recognized in Kemet, according to these Kemetic scholars, is that the beetle is rolling up shit. I rest my case. Okay, now take a look at this. Here is what they teaching your kids in school. This is what they teaching your kids in school right now. Pay attention. Did you see how the little brain dumb monkey turned into a black woman? Did you see that? Let's look at that again. Outer Africa theory states that black people came from monkeys and white people came from black people. I need y'all to wake up. I mean, unless that's what y'all jacking. Now that the family tree is complete, now she's gonna go out of Africa. Now, do any of these common ancestor people support out of Africa? They aren't the same, you know. And where is the sources? Just saying.
Say, cool, right. I got a question for you real quick.
Go ahead, Dr. Inky.
Say, cool, you said that we share a ancestor.
Jamie, you can cut in. You can get in anytime you feel. When you're ready, just hold your hand up. Let me know. I'll let you in too. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, say, cool. You were saying that we share an ancestor, a common ancestor with the apes or the gorillas. Can you share for us the actual common ancestor? Like, has that common ancestor ever been located, found, or identified?
No.
Why are you answering the question for him, man? Let him answer.
He can't help himself, man.
Yes, it has.
No, what do you mean I can't help? I already said that. I said there is Inky. Are you?
I'm listening.
He's here.
Okay. Yeah, so you've been hearing issues like missing links and what have you. They've not found directly and say this is this particular common ancestors that the human and then these other beings come from. No. But what we've been able to do is to trace the humanoid. That means the humanoid creatures that are actually human, but they not exactly look like us. If you trace them to Lucy, for example, that were found in Ethiopia, you will find out that it is much closer. Lucy did not look like you and me. It will look more like what you would be calling apes, but it's not an ape based on certain physiological features that it has. So the common ancestor, yes, some are missing, but by DNA, I'm coming. The fossil you are looking, because the sign have different branches. You are talking about the fossil record.
Rise up, get healthy, let the truth ignite. Dr. Inky always bringing dark to light. CMOS senior system.
Zelly, hold on. So we got Inky in the building. He says, listen, I have a whole book available on Amazon now. It says blacks, what? Anatomy, AL solves the evolution problem. Yeah, go get that book. Go get the book. All right? We're going to get the book and do a book read on it, and we're going to tear it to smithereens. But you got to get it to tear it to smithereens.